And new at 6, a battle in New Hampshire between a bakery and a town zoning board. This mural, painted by local high school students, is now at the center of a free speech debate. It depicts pastries. And because it's a bake shop, the local zoning board is deciding that it's actually advertising. And because the painting is 4 times bigger than the local sign code allowed, it needs to come down. The owner of the shop says it's art, and when he was facing possible misdemeanor criminal charges, he filed a lawsuit in federal court saying it is a First Amendment violation. Ooh, good one to break down here for you, Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes. And can you interpret this painting here as advertising?
I think you can try, but I think the court will rule in favor of the bakery. You got to look at it like this, and they've opened themselves up, they as in the city or whoever's trying to zone this as an advertisement, when they did a couple of things. Because they said the reason they wanted to be considered an advertisement was because it's showing pastries and it's a pastry shop. Now that shifts the argument. If they would have just said, you can't have any mural up there, it doesn't matter the type of mural, it's just too big, I think they would be okay because specific sizes and things like that. But once you say that I don't like it because it's pastries, well, now you're saying I don't like your content. Anytime you attempt to restrict someone's content, it has to be narrowly tailored and you have to show a compelling public interest. I don't think they'll be able to do that. This is not narrowly tailored. Their restriction for them to get rid of it, to punish them with some type of misdemeanor or criminal charges, is extremely a stretch. That's not the least restrictive means to do it. So I think for those reasons, the court will be extremely open to saying, this is speech, you're trying to chill speech, and because you're chilling speech, content related and not time, place, and manner, the better way would have been to say, you know what, you can have this pastry mural, but it can't be on top of your building. It could be over, across the street, or it could be 2 blocks up. Maybe a little bit different, but because you've now centered and said it, I don't like that there's pastries in there, I think they may have lost just by that statement alone.
I can understand the subliminal advertising. You don't have signage all over the place or something like that. But is there any kind of a precedent here, a ruling on something like this, whether it's advertising before?
I think the ruling would just be speech in general. I mean, because it doesn't matter what we're talking about. If you're talking about trying to stop someone's speech, the standard is pretty clear. Am I trying to stop your speech based on content, or am I saying it's time, place, and manner? If it's content neutral, I can stop your speech, and there's a number of cases that point to how and when and the manner in which I can do it. But if I'm not content neutral and I'm content specific, if I'm specifically saying that type of speech, i.e. those type of bagels and biscuits and donuts and cookies, you can't have those, yeah, now that's telling me I can't have a certain speech that I want. So if I made the sign all yellow and I didn't have any biscuits, it would be okay. But because I've now added pastries, you don't like it, that directly goes against every instance of Supreme Court precedent for First Amendment cases.
Does this get to the Supreme Court?
I think it could. Now, that question is a deeper question. It really depends on how deep their pockets are and how hot they want to take the oven with this one, because you got to look at it. Can you go to Supreme Court with a case like this? I think it's ripe. But cases that go to Supreme Court cost a lot of money. This is not cheap. First of all, you have to go to court. Then you have to appeal it. Then you have to have a court that wants to grant cert. That means the Supreme Court wants to hear the case. That's dollar.
You're talking about a small business here, yeah.
Talking about a small business, small town, and a small sign. Maybe not a small sign. Maybe a billboard. We'll see.
Speaking of big billboards there, your Eagles, you were broadcasting that all over the place as you went down to the Super Bowl.
Go
Good
Birds.
to have you back, as you had some great seats in the Superdome there. All right, Khalif, thanks.